Grace is abundant, Acts 4:33. That grace is sufficient, 2 Corinthians 12:9. And that grace is multiplied, 2 Peter 1:2. You got to believe that. You got to believe that. You know the hymn, He giveth more grace as our burdens grow greater. He sendeth more strength as our labors increase. To added afflictions, He addeth His mercy. To multiply trials, He multiplies peace. His love has no limits, His grace has no measure. His power no boundary known unto men. For out of His infinite riches in Jesus, He giveth and giveth and giveth again. You might be going through a trial right now and you're wondering, where is God's grace? It is there. But there's a point where God just chooses not to have that trial terminate at this time in your life for His good, wise reasons. For your good. And you can imagine Noah as he is in this ark and he's bobbing around in a shoreless ocean. He's not going to have some freighter come by and pull him aboard. He's not going to wash up on some tropical island in the Caribbean. There is no land. He's a cork in a shoreless ocean, bobbing around, and he has to wonder, as the food is getting lower, when is this trial going to end? Sometimes we get ourselves in a mess. And sometimes we don't do anything and we find ourselves in a mess. And there's nothing wrong with trying to get yourself out of it. That's what human beings should do. But folks, still in the midst of that, trust in God's grace. But sometimes you don't have that option. Sometimes you can't, regardless of how big your shovel is, dig yourself out of the hole. And some of you guys are in those situations right now. There's nothing you can do. Nothing. And that's where Noah was. Didn't matter how smart he was, didn't matter how strong he was. He's not going to get himself out of this mess. And God, listen, I believe, allows those times in our life of desperation because there's nowhere else we can turn. And it forces us, as we should always be doing, but now in these situations to say, God, whom have I in heaven but you? You're the only hope that I have to get me out of this situation. And even if you choose not to get me out of this situation, I know you have good, sovereign, wise purposes for keeping me in it. Theologians say it was 7 months waiting for that water to recede. 7 months. 7 months of waiting. Would God keep His promise? You might be wondering yourself, with whatever trial you're battling, how much longer, Lord? That refrain we see from the prophets in Scripture, how long, O Lord? How long? Will you bring my boat safely to dry land? God always comes through for His people.